It all started on a sweltering Saturday. 102 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And Isabel was doing her usual post-argument routine, packing a suitcase like she was moving to Mars. I sat on the couch, shirtless, hugging a watermelon and watching her toss sweaters and winter coats into her bag like she was fleeing a snowstorm. "It's 100 degrees, babe," I said without looking up. "Leave the parka." She didn't even glance at me. "Okay, fine." I was kind of in the wrong. So I swallowed my pride, followed her to the door like a kicked puppy, and mumbled, "Issy, are you coming back for dinner?" She turned, eyes cold as ice, and snapped, "Ethan, I'll make sure you regret losing me. You won't have a single peaceful day without me." Then she slammed the door. And just like that, Isabel White, the girl I'd chased for half a semester, the love of my chaotic adult life, was gone. That first week without her. It sucked. I missed her voice, her smell, her stupid little way of organizing the spice rack by alphabetical and color order. By day 3, I'd eaten through every takeout place in a 3-mile radius. By day 5, even cup noodles tasted sad. By day 7, I caved. Screw pride. I unlocked my phone, clicked on her profile only to see her avatar had changed to an angry cartoon puppy. Cute. I typed, "Issy, I messed up. Come home." Hit send. Error. Message failed. That red exclamation mark. Yeah, it was like a slap in the face. She'd blocked me. She blocked me. We had one rule in this relationship: no blocking, no ghosting, even when we fought. And she broke it. I stared at my screen for 10 whole minutes. "You wanna play hardball, Issy?" "Fine. Game on." I called up Ryan, my best friend since middle school, and dragged him to Blue Whiskey Bar. By the third whiskey sour, I was loud and philosophical. She just wants to get married, man. That's her entire agenda. 6 years of dating and suddenly she's on this bridal mission. I can't even say the word without her tearing up. Ryan looked like he'd seen this movie before. He sighed and sipped his drink. "Bro, Isabel's got her flaws. But aside from wanting a ring, what else do you even hate about her?" I clutched his arm and declared with drunken dignity, "She blocked me. That's a war crime in our book." Ryan patted me on the back. Okay. No wedding. Just date. Or dump her. Or find someone new. You're the real MVP, man," I slurred, wrapping my arm around his shoulder. "Who needs Isabel? Isabel White? More like Isabel Y." Ryan didn't even flinch when a glass shattered in the booth behind us. Probably someone else's drama. I was on a mission now. I told Ryan I wanted to order 18 bottle girls and turn this night into a movie. He dragged me out of there like I was a ticking bomb, stuffed me into an Uber, and told me to stop being dramatic. I held his hand like a toddler and cried, "Don't send me home. That place is cold. I miss her cooking. I miss her yelling at me for not separating whites and colors in the laundry. She said I'd never have a peaceful life without her, but I want peace. I want girls. I want the whole night to shake." Ryan slammed the door shut and told me to get a grip. I slumped in the back seat, sniffled, and squinted at the driver. She was young. Pretty eyes. Hair in a bun. Slim hands gripping the wheel like a pro. I mumbled, "Rough gig, huh? Driving dudes around who just got dumped." "Not rough," she said, voice deep and familiar. "My boyfriend wants bottle girls. Gotta make extra cash." "Damn." Voice smooth like melted chocolate. Well, I leaned closer to the seat, totally drunk. "Your boyfriend's trash. Can't believe he'd ditch a woman like you. You got great hands. Look at those veins. Sexy. He doesn't deserve you. I mean it." She turned her head slightly, just enough for me to catch a sliver of her eye. It sparkled. "He chased me for months. But once he got me, he stopped caring. I chuckled bitterly. Same. I chased Isabel like my GPA depended on it. Now she's all marriage this, marriage that. We fight every time it comes up. She's got money, you know. Like old money mansion vibes. She would never drive Uber. She got possessive. Super possessive. Also, she'd never let me spend money on bottle girls. We both laughed. I wiped a tear and sighed. But hey, maybe it's us. Maybe we're boring. Maybe he wants excitement, huh? Girls in heels and fake eyelashes. Not career-driven girlfriends who just want to settle down. The driver slammed the brakes. My head bounced off the window. Ow. Lady, what the? Before I could finish, she unbuckled, got out, opened the back door, and dragged me into her arms. Not exciting enough? 18 bottle girls. Really, Ethan? I froze. That voice. That perfume. That icy glare. I yanked off her mask and nearly screamed. Isabel? Are you insane? She didn't even respond. Just kissed me like the damn parking lot was our honeymoon suite. Her hands grabbed mine and slammed them right onto her chest. Not exciting. You want roleplay? You want chaos? Try me. Issy, this is a parking lot, I gasped, half mortified, half sober. Have you lost your mind? No, she whispered, lips grazing mine. But you obviously lost your morals. 18 girls, Ethan. You wished for them. It was drunk talk. I was joking. I didn't even call anyone. She glared. And you? You packed your bags. Blocked me. You think you're some victim here. Don't twist this. I argued, voice rising. You left. You ghosted me. You blocked me. You want to be strong. Be single then. The words flew out like bullets. Let's break up. Isabel froze. Her body stiffened like a snapped wire. Her hands shook. She looked at me terrified. No, she whispered. No. Don't say that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. Don't do this. And just like that she was crying. The mighty Isabel White, Miss Ice Queen herself, was trembling like a leaf, begging me not to leave. My heart cracked. I hated myself. I shouldn't have said it. That wasn't a line we ever crossed. Issy, I whispered, I don't want to get married. I'm not ready. If it's that important to you, go date the guy your mom set you up with. He'll marry you next week. Don't waste time on me. Her face broke. She pulled me close, kissed my lips, my jaw, my forehead. Don't say that, she whispered between kisses. Don't push me away. We said we wouldn't say the B word. We fight, sure. But we don't break. We don't walk away. I felt every wall inside me crumbling. She kissed away every ounce of resentment like it never existed. My pride, my doubts, my guilt gone. Just her. Just this. And before I could even register what was happening, we were tangled in each other, skin to skin, under the dim lights of a quiet parking lot. Sometimes, forgiveness isn't a conversation. It's a choice. A need. A breath. A kiss. A whispered apology between trembling hands. And in that moment, under that flickering light, I chose her all over again. No ring. No promises. Just us. Just raw, messy, intoxicating us. That's how the story continued. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. The real storm hadn't even begun. And next time, I might not be the one with the final say. The next morning, I woke up tangled in blankets and guilt, staring at the ceiling like it had all the answers I didn't. Isabel was in the closet, putting her suitcase away like nothing had happened. Her back was straight, movements precise, folding clothes like she was performing surgery, not unpacking from a failed rebellion. Every single thing she had packed in anger last week was now neatly hung back up, sorted by color, of course. She was always like that. When she loved with systems. Even her fury had a schedule. I watched her in silence, wondering if I should say something. Maybe crack a joke. Maybe apologize again. Before I could decide, she sat beside me on the bed and took my wrist in her palm, gently rubbing her thumb over the mark she'd accidentally left last night with those silk stockings. "Does it hurt?" she asked softly, not looking at me. "No," I muttered, face burning, quickly yanking my hand away and shoving it under the blanket. But the truth? I'd scratched at the knot myself, trying to resist her. Now it just looked like I'd survived a slightly aggressive date night. She leaned over, kissed my cheek, and whispered, "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone that far." And just like that, the guilt I thought I had evaporated. Because let's be real, how could I stay mad at the woman who tied me up and cooked me breakfast? Later that afternoon, I sat with Ryan and told him everything. From the drunken Uber confession to the parking lot scene that should have been X-rated. He laughed so hard he nearly choked on his boba. "I can't believe Ice Queen Isabel is actually like this in private," he wheezed, wiping tears. "Man, she acts like a stone wall in meetings, but at home she's tying you up with silk and feeding you soup." I shrugged. "She's got layers. Like a very sexy onion. No, like a dangerous fondue. Looks classy, burns you when you're not careful." I couldn't even argue. But the problem wasn't our chemistry. It was everything else. See, Isabel wanted marriage. Desperately. And I didn't. Not because I didn't love her, but because marrying her meant dragging her into my mess. My mother. My family. The small-town debt, the shame, the bitterness I kept buried 6 feet under. Isabel was born with silver spoons and fresh flowers and birthday trips to Paris. I was born with bills and cold leftovers and a mom who thought love was transactional. That's the root of all our fights. Every time she brings up marriage, my brain flashes back to the day she told her mom about me. It was a simple phone call. We were making dinner together, and her phone rang. Her mom asked if she had any updates about that guy they wanted her to meet. And Isabel, eyes full of defiance and mischief, said, "No need. I already have a boyfriend. He's right here." My spatula clattered. I mouthed, "What are you doing?" She just winked. And then, her mom's voice, excited, surprised, delighted, boomed from the speaker, "You're dating someone. Why didn't you tell me earlier? When do we get to meet him?" Isabel beamed at me, proud. "That depends. When's my boyfriend ready to meet his future mother-in-law?" I panicked. Flat out panicked. I snapped. "We said we wouldn't bring families into this yet." She looked wounded but covered it with a smile. "Why are you scared?" "I just want my parents to meet the man I love. And I just want to breathe without feeling cornered." The argument escalated quickly, ending with her locking herself in the bedroom and me punching my pillow like it owed me money. For days after, I kept replaying that moment in my head. Her hope. Her hurt. And my fear. I wasn't scared of commitment. I was scared of what commitment would reveal. Because Isabel didn't know about my mom. About how last year, she called me cussing for not giving her money to send my little sister to a private high school. About how she guilt-tripped me, saying I owed her every cent she ever spent on me. Isabel didn't know that if I brought her home, my mom would instantly see her as a bank account in heels. And I couldn't let that happen. Because even if I hated my past, I hated the thought of anyone using her more. But that didn't stop her from trying to sneak her way in. Turns out, 3 days after our big fight, Isabel showed up at my family's house while I was gone. Paid for my sister's tuition. Bought her a brand new top-tier laptop. Renovated the crumbling apartment with fresh paint and floors. And never said a word to me. I only found out when I came home during the holidays, intending to hand my mom the $12,000 I had saved over the past 2 years. I walked in expecting guilt trips. Instead, I found new tiles, soft lighting, and my sister humming happily in her room. My mom. She just looked at me and said, "Took you long enough. What, too busy living in luxury with your rich girlfriend to visit us peasants?" I clenched my jaw. "How do you know about her?" "Please," she scoffed. "She came here. Paid your sister's tuition. Bought a computer. Redid the kitchen. Hell, she even sat down with me and asked what your favorite soup was." My vision went white. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because it's my house," she snapped. "And I don't owe you explanations." That night, I couldn't sleep. My sister was happy. My mom was smug. And me? I was unraveling. Isabel had done all this for me. Quietly. Secretly. Without asking for thanks. Without using it against me. It made me feel smaller. Like she was the adult in this relationship and I was just some dumb kid pretending to be a man. The next morning, my mom tried to guilt me into giving her my entire savings, said Isabel could cover the rest of our lives anyway. I told her no. I told her Isabel and I would marry on our terms. That I wouldn't let her take a dime from the woman I loved. And that she wouldn't see another penny from me again. I left that house and never looked back. I texted Isabel from the train station. "Hey, I want your sweet and sour ribs. And your seafood porridge. And I miss you." I didn't expect her to call within 10 seconds. "Baby," she said, voice warm and teasing. "Finally thinking of me?" I tried to answer but choked. The tears came faster than I expected. I turned away from the crowd, covered my face. "Ethan," she asked, voice tightening. "What's wrong? Are you okay? Where are you?" "Don't come," I whispered. "I'm coming home. Just don't let me cry in public, okay?" She didn't argue. She just said, "I'll wait." Doors open. And that's when I knew. No matter how messy I was. No matter how unworthy I felt. Isabel White was still my safe place. Still my home. Still the only person who could stitch me back together when the rest of the world made me bleed. The moment I stepped off the train, I didn't expect to see her there, standing in the middle of the crowd like a scene from a movie I never thought I'd star in. Isabel White. Tall, striking, in a black dress that fluttered around her knees, holding a pale pink umbrella that stood out like a blush against the gray concrete station. Her eyes scanned every figure walking out until they landed on me, and just like that, her whole face changed like the sky clearing after weeks of thunder. I dropped my bag, ignored the people bumping into me, and ran to her. I threw my arms around her shoulders and kissed her on the cheek like I hadn't tasted her skin in years. "I missed you so much," I breathed, burying my face into her neck. She laughed, gentle and warm, tugging away slightly. "You're sweating, you sap. Stop rubbing your forehead on my collar." On the ride home, she held the umbrella for me like I was the one who'd been waiting under the sun. I asked her how she knew I was on that exact train, and she gave me a sideways smirk. I asked Emily. "My sister." "Of course. So you just casually interrogated my baby sister?" I faked a glare. "What else did you get out of her?" "My search history. My sleep schedule." Isabel grinned and pinched my cheek. "Relax, baby. I just wanted to make sure I got to see your stupid face as soon as possible." But her voice trembled on the last syllable. I could tell she'd been holding back a flood of emotion. And suddenly I remembered why I came back. Why I left my mom's house without a second thought. Why I'd thrown away years of fear for 5 seconds in her arms. Because this woman wasn't just my girlfriend. She was my anchor. My balance. My only reason for believing in something gentler than survival. We got home and everything felt strangely normal. She threw her purse on the couch, took off her heels, stretched like a cat. "You hungry? I can make that porridge." I grabbed her hand before she could walk into the kitchen. "Isabel." She turned. "Yeah. You didn't have to go to my mom's place." Her smile faded. "I know. You didn't have to pay for anything. Or fix anything. Or try so hard to be accepted by someone who never deserved you." "I wasn't doing it for her," she said simply. "I was doing it for you." I swallowed hard. I didn't want you to know how broken everything is. I didn't want you to see the parts of me that I've spent years trying to cover up." "Then why do you think I stayed?" she whispered. "Do you really think I fell in love with some polished, perfect version of Ethan Reed? I chose you. All of you. Even the parts you're afraid to let me see." And just like that, I was crying again. She pulled me into her arms and pressed her lips to my forehead. "You're not broken," she said. "You're just scared. And I'll hold your hand until the fear stops shaking it." That night, I helped her make dinner. She cooked. I washed the rice. We danced around each other like we were back in college again. She made sweet and sour ribs with extra pineapple just the way I liked. And after dinner, she sat on the couch with her laptop open, glasses perched low on her nose, typing away at something for work. I watched her from the doorway, holding a fruit platter like a peace offering. "Baby," I said, trying to act cool, "need a snack?" She turned and smiled. "You're being suspiciously sweet today. Is it working?" "Painfully so." "Want me to charge your phone?" I asked. "You've been texting a lot lately." She tilted her head. "Is that your not so subtle way of asking if I'm seeing someone on the side?" "No," I mumbled, ears burning. "I was just here," she interrupted, handing me her unlocked phone. "Check it. No password. No deleted messages. No drama." I blinked. "I wasn't gonna." "You were," she grinned. "But it's okay. It means you care." And there it was again, that overwhelming sense of being seen. Not judged. Not exposed. Just understood. I scrolled through her texts half-heartedly, more out of embarrassment than actual doubt. Most of them were with her mom. Some about work. A few pictures of me, clearly taken without my consent. "What the hell is this?" I asked, pointing at a screenshot of me mid-yawn looking like a grumpy Shiba Inu. "That's from my personal collection," she said with a wink. "A whole album of my cranky, pouty baby." "You're insane. You love it." I did. God help me, I really, really did. Later that night, as I curled into her side on the couch, I asked, "So you're really not mad about everything?" She ran her fingers through my hair. "I'm not mad. Just tired. I love you, Ethan. But I can't keep guessing where I stand in your future. One day you're warm, the next day you're running from a proposal like it's a death sentence." I stayed silent. "I don't need a fairy tale wedding," she whispered. "I just need to know I'm not wasting my heart on a man who won't even claim me in front of his family." "You're not wasting anything," I said, gripping her hand. "You're my everything. You're my home. You're the only place I want to wake up in." She looked at me, eyes wet but steady. Then stopped running. And maybe for the first time in my entire life, I was ready to. Because hiding from my past wasn't saving me. It was just pushing her further away. And if I kept going, I'd lose her. Not just temporarily. But forever. I couldn't let that happen. I wouldn't. The next day, I took a deep breath and made a plan. A real one. No more excuses. No more fear. No more letting my mother's bitterness infect the only love I'd ever believed in. Because Isabel White had given me everything: her heart, her strength, her stubbornness, her forgiveness. It was time I gave her something back. Not promises. Not apologies. But something solid. Something permanent. Something that could never be erased or blocked or packed into a suitcase again. I just needed to figure out how to make her believe it. Isabel's birthday was coming up, and for once, I wasn't going to be the guy who showed up last minute with a panicked bouquet and a guilty smile. This year, I wanted to make it count. I'd already wasted enough time dragging my feet, making excuses, hiding behind my past like it was some sacred shield. So I called Ryan. "Meet me at Evergreen Mall," I said. "We've got shopping to do." Finally growing a pair, he asked, half teasing, half relieved. "Shut up and bring your credit card. I might need backup." We wandered that mall like two lost puppies with iced lattes, from level 1 to level 4 and back down again, eyes scanning shelves like we were defusing a bomb. Nothing felt right. Not the perfumes. Not the watches. Not the designer purses. Isabel didn't care about brands, she cared about intention. Thought. Meaning. I was about to give up and settle for an overpriced scented candle when Ryan stopped in front of a bridal boutique. "This," he said, pointing to the window display. "This is what she wants." I followed his gaze and saw Ida pearl-detailed wedding dress glowing under a spotlight, next to a navy blue tuxedo that looked like it had been cut from midnight itself. "We're not married yet," I muttered, suddenly sweating. "Exactly," Ryan said. "Which is why this would mean everything to her." I hesitated. "But it's too much." No," he interrupted. "You already told your mom off. You told Isabel you weren't afraid anymore. If you're gonna prove it loud. Prove it in style. You don't need to buy the tux. Just rent it. Stand under the lights. Wait for her to come home. That's your gift." And damn it, the guy had a point. So I did it. I booked a fitting, ordered her favorite cake from Sugar and Bloom, and took the day off work without telling her. The next morning, Isabel dropped me off at the office like usual, kissed me on the cheek, and reminded me not to skip lunch. I waved her off and waited until her car disappeared before bolting in the opposite direction. Ryan met me at the bakery first. We designed a custom cake with raspberry filling and white chocolate shavings, her favorite combo. Then we hit the boutique, where I spent 2 hours getting my hair styled, my tux tailored, and my nerves completely wrecked. "You look like someone who's about to propose on national TV," Ryan said as I stared at my reflection. "I feel like I'm about to throw up." "Good. That means it's working." Back at the apartment, we set everything up. Cake on the counter. Candles lit. Lights dimmed. Ryan helped me adjust my tie, stepped back, and nodded like a proud dad. "All right, loverboy. I'm out. Can't wait for the recap tomorrow." After he left, I turned off every light in the place except the one in the entryway. I stood by the door, hands sweaty, heart thudding, trying not to blink every time the hallway made a sound. Then finally click. The key turned in the lock. The door swung open. Isabel walked in, phone in hand, heels in the other. "Baby, I'm home. I got that wine you," her voice caught mid-sentence. She looked up and froze. I was standing there in the tux, holding a tiny velvet box with her name on it. Her eyes went wide. Her mouth opened, then shut again like her brain had short-circuited. "Isabel White," I said, trying to keep my voice from shaking, "this is not a proposal. Yet. This is a birthday gift. A promise. A reminder that I see you. That I love you. And that I'm not running anymore." She took one shaky step forward. "Ethan, what is this?" "Your gift," I said, cracking a smile. "Also, your boyfriend cosplaying as your husband. You like it?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Is this what I think it is? Only if you think it's me telling you I'm ready. That I want to build a future with you. That I've been an idiot, but I'm done being scared." She dropped her heels on the floor and ran at me like a missile, throwing her arms around my neck and sobbing into my shoulder. "You jerk," she cried. "You dramatic, perfect, romantic jerk." "I'll take that," I whispered, holding her close. "Happy birthday, baby." Later, after the tears and the champagne and the most passionate kiss of my life, we ended up in the bedroom. And let me tell you, Isabel was not gentle that night. She kissed me like she owned me. She cried against my skin. She left bite marks on my shoulder and "I love you" on every inch of my soul. But what got me most, what hit me like a freight train, was the look in her eyes. That look that said, "Finally." That look that said, "You didn't just hear me, you listened." Afterward, we laid tangled in sheets and candlelight. Her cheeks were flushed, eyes still glassy. I turned to face her, breath still catching. "So," I asked softly, "was this birthday good enough?" "No," she whispered, tracing circles on my chest. "It was better than every birthday I've ever had combined." I kissed the top of her head and whispered, "Good. Because this is just the beginning." And I meant it. For the first time in forever, I meant it. But life has this cruel way of testing you right after you make a promise. Like the universe saying, "Oh really? Let's see." What I didn't know then was that a storm was already on its way. Quiet. Slow. But it was coming. And neither tuxedos nor birthday candles could stop what came next. Half a year after her birthday, Isabel and I got married. Yeah, married. After all the running, after all the "I'm not ready" and "what if I'm not enough" and every breakdown I shoved under jokes and late-night beers, I stood beside her under that stupidly beautiful archway she insisted on decorating herself, surrounded by our friends, co-workers, and even a few reluctant family members, and I said, "I do," like I'd been born for that moment. We didn't have a grand ballroom or some Gatsby-level spectacle, just a garden, a string quartet, and enough emotion in the air to make Ryan cry into his champagne. I didn't think I'd feel different afterward. I thought I'd just be the same guy with a ring on, doing taxes with a prettier last name. But something shifted. Waking up with her the next morning, calling her my wife, watching her roll over with messy hair and no makeup and a satisfied smirk on her lips that was different. It felt like closing a loop I didn't even know was open. Our honeymoon didn't happen right away. Work was insane on both ends, and Isabel had this new project that ate her alive for weeks. She was barely home, constantly on Zoom calls, always muttering marketing strategies and pitch numbers under her breath even in her sleep. I joked that she was cheating on me with her spreadsheet, and she laughed, but even I could tell something was off. She was too tense. Too quiet. Too distant. At first I didn't think much of it. Maybe it was post-wedding burnout or whatever. But then I started noticing the small stuff. The way she kept her phone screen face down every time we ate. The way she always seemed to have unread messages, but never replied in front of me. The way she'd go out for client dinners, and come home smelling like a brand of cologne I didn't recognize. I didn't want to become that guy, the paranoid husband. But the thoughts came anyway, creeping in like mold, infecting every calm moment with suspicion. Ryan noticed it first. We were grabbing tacos after work, and he said, "You okay, man? You've been twitchy for weeks." I shrugged, tried to laugh it off. "Just tired." "It's Isabel, isn't it?" he said, straight up. "You think she's stepping out?" "What?" "No," I lied. "Why would you say that?" "Because you're cutting your tortillas into squares like a man possessed." I looked down. Crap. He wasn't wrong. "You don't think she'd actually?" I stopped myself. Ryan leaned in, serious now. "I don't think she's the type. But if something's wrong, you gotta talk to her. Don't go digging through phones or stalking her calendar. Just talk." I nodded. That night, I tried. I brought her dinner to the study, even sliced up her mango the way she liked. She looked up from her laptop, eyes tired but grateful. "Thanks, baby. Can we talk?" I asked. Her hands paused over the keyboard. "Of course. Are you happy?" She blinked. "Why would you ask that?" "Because you've been working non-stop. And I feel like I haven't really seen you since the wedding." And your phone's always going off, and she reached over, grabbed her phone, and handed it to me. Go ahead. Look. I stared at her. What? If you don't trust me, check. But don't stand there and ask questions you're not brave enough to answer yourself. It's not about trust, I muttered. It's about feeling like I'm competing with something I can't see. Then say that, she said, softer now. Don't accuse. Don't assume. Just ask me to stay. I put the phone down. Stay. I'm not going anywhere, she whispered, standing up and wrapping her arms around me. But this project ends next month, and then I'm yours completely. Just give me time. I held her close, the guilt sharp and cold in my throat. I should have known. I should have remembered who she was, this woman who once paid my sister's tuition in silence, who fought my demons with her bare hands and never once asked for credit. She didn't cheat. She didn't lie. She just worked herself to the bone because she didn't know how to rest when she cared about something. That night, I curled up with her on the couch, her head on my chest, and I promised myself I'd never doubt her again. But fate has a way of punching you in the gut the second you make a vow. And that punch came the next morning. Isabel was in the kitchen making coffee, humming softly, when her phone buzzed across the counter. I glanced over, just instinct. I wasn't trying to read it. But the message preview glowed bright and unavoidable, looking forward to our weekend. Don't forget what you promised. My stomach dropped. Isabel? I said, my voice already cracking. She turned, smiling. Yeah. Who's texting you about a weekend promise? Her expression froze. Not panicked. Not guilty. Just frozen. It's not what you think. Then explain. It's for work. Work doesn't flirt, I snapped. She put the coffee down slowly, her hands suddenly shaky. Ethan, please don't what? Don't ask why my wife is getting messages like that at 7 a.m. Don't question why I spent months second-guessing myself while you— Stop, she shouted, louder than I'd ever heard her. The silence afterward was deafening. I looked at her, eyes stinging. Just tell me the truth. She closed her eyes. Breathed in deep. It's from a client. A long-term investor who's complicated. He flirts, I ignore it. But I can't risk losing the contract right now. We needed to hit quarterly goals. So you let him flirt? I don't let him, she said, frustrated. But I don't correct him either. Because I've spent the last year building this campaign from the ground up, and if I lose this deal, it all crashes. And maybe that makes me a terrible wife, but I didn't think I had to explain every power move to you. I don't care about the deal, I said, quietly. I care about you. About us. Then trust me, she whispered. Please. I didn't answer. I just walked out of the kitchen and shut myself in the bedroom. Not slamming. Just quietly closing a door I didn't know I'd opened. I sat on the edge of the bed and tried not to spiral. Tried not to replay the message. Tried not to imagine this mystery investor with expensive suits and slicked back hair and the kind of money my mom always dreamed I'd marry into. I wanted to believe her. I almost did. But something about the way she froze, the way she refused to name him, made my heart crawl into my throat and stay there. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just waited. Waited for the next sentence that might shatter everything. But it didn't come. Instead, Isabel knocked gently, came in slowly, sat beside me, and rested her head on my shoulder like nothing was broken. Like love was still enough. And maybe, just maybe, it still was. A week passed. One heavy, dragging, sleepless week where everything felt like we were pretending normal. Isabel would kiss me good morning, text me mid-afternoon, cook dinner with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. And I played along. I said, I love you, like a reflex, not a revelation. I laughed at her jokes and nodded at her stories, but inside, my heart felt like a rubber band stretched to its snapping point. I couldn't get that message out of my head. Don't forget what you promised. It haunted me. Was it business? Was it more? Was it both? I wanted to ask her again, wanted to demand details, names, receipts, but I didn't. I was scared of what I'd hear. Scared that maybe, for once, I wouldn't be the only one who ran. And then Saturday came. She was supposed to be out for brunch with co-workers, but I knew something was off the moment she stepped out. Her dress was too formal. Her perfume too heavy. Her eyes too bright, like she'd layered on confidence instead of mascara. So I followed her. God, I hated myself for it, but I did. Called a rideshare 10 minutes after she left, told the driver to keep distance. My heart beat like a war drum. I watched her enter a high-end hotel downtown. Watched her pause at the door, check her reflection in the glass, then disappear inside. It felt like being punched in the chest by a ghost. I sat outside in the car for 15 minutes, battling with myself. Maybe it was a pitch meeting. Maybe the client was late. Maybe this was just how deals worked at her level. But when I finally walked into that lobby and saw her sitting alone at a booth in the lounge, staring at her phone, fidgeting with the rim of her glass, I knew she was waiting. Not for me. Not for a group. For someone. And that someone wasn't late. He just wasn't coming. I didn't make a scene. I didn't shout or slam anything. I just walked over, slid into the booth across from her, and said, "You're 2 drinks in." That's not brunch behavior. Her eyes widened like she'd seen a ghost. Then her lips parted, and nothing came out. "Who are you waiting for?" I asked. Still silence. Her hands trembled. I'd never seen her tremble. Isabel White was composed, always. Even when angry, even when emotional, she was controlled. But now she looked 16 again, caught sneaking out past curfew. "Ethan," she whispered, "I was going to tell you, before or after you cashed the check." I said, the bitterness slipping through before I could stop it. Her face crumpled. "It's not like that. I didn't do anything. You didn't need to. You just came here. You showed up. That's already too much." She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Her hand reached across the table for mine, but I pulled back. "I don't even care what happened," I said. "I care that you lied. That you made me feel like I was crazy for doubting, when you were out here proving me right." "I didn't cheat," she said, voice breaking. "I swear." "He asked me to come. I wanted to say no. I did. But I thought if I just rejected him in person, once and for all, he'd stop. I thought I could handle it." "You thought you needed to handle it alone," I said, sharper than I meant to. Like I wasn't someone who'd stand beside you. Like I was just an obstacle to work around, not a partner to lean on. Her tears came fast then. She covered her face with her hands, shoulders shaking. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I didn't want to drag you into this mess. I thought I could fix it without breaking us." "But you did break us," I said quietly. "And now I don't know how to fix it." We sat there in silence, the kind that squeezes your ribs and makes your brain feel too loud. The waiter hovered once, then backed off fast. After a long, aching minute, I slid out of the booth. "I'm going home," I said. "You can come with me or not." I didn't wait for an answer. I walked out, and the moment I stepped into the sun, it hit me like a crash. Maybe this was how she felt back when I said I didn't want to get married. Like everything she'd invested was hanging by a thread. Like loving someone who's always half out the door was a slow kind of torture. When I got home, the apartment felt foreign. Too quiet. Too neat. Like a hotel room that forgot how to feel like home. I sat on the couch, stared at the wall, and for the first time in years, I wished I could call my dad. He would have told me what to say. He would have known if it was salvageable. But all I had was myself and a heart that didn't know if it wanted to forgive or forget. An hour later, the door opened. I didn't turn. Just waited. Isabel walked in barefoot, holding her heels in one hand and her dignity in the other. You didn't want me to come, she said softly. But I'm here anyway. I still didn't turn. You should have told me sooner. I know. I would have helped you. Protected you. We could have sent a legal team, blocked him, burned the deal down. You didn't need to do this alone. I know. Then why? Because, she said, voice trembling, I didn't want to be the reason you stopped trusting again. That finally made me turn. She looked like hell. Mascara streaked. Hair undone. That powerful, proud woman I loved was standing there like she didn't know how to stand anymore. You're not, I said after a moment. But this is. She crossed the room and sat beside me, careful not to touch. What do you want, Ethan? I looked at her. Really looked at her. Not the mistake she made, not the moment she froze, but the woman who spent 6 years loving me through every insecurity and family issue and fear of commitment I threw at her. The woman who fixed my childhood home and never told me. The woman who held my hand when I shook and kissed my forehead when I lied. I want to try again, I said, voice hoarse. I want to move forward. But I need you to stop being so goddamn brave all the time. Let me carry some of the weight, Issy. You don't have to do this alone. Her breath hitched. You still want me? Always. And that was it. She climbed into my lap and cried into my shoulder while I held her like she was the last real thing on earth. Because she was. And when we kissed, it wasn't perfect or passionate or polished. It was raw and messy and real. It was the kind of kiss people fight for. The kind they bleed for. The kind that says I forgive you even when I still hurt. We spent that night in each other's arms, whispering confessions like prayers, patching the cracks with every, I'm sorry, and, I love you, and, I didn't mean to hurt you. And somewhere between midnight and morning, we found our way back to being whole. Not because nothing broke but because we chose to rebuild it together. That's what love is. Not flawless. Not easy. Just two stubborn people choosing each other, even when they don't have to. Especially when they don't have to.